put together, this is pieces of a longer presentation that I did recently for the New Jersey Football Coach Association, because
Right.
we're all kind of in the same situation here, where we have not only not access to the weight rooms for teams, the local gyms are closed, and you can't even go to the local field if you wanted to get a workout. And now
Right.
you have thousands of kids home by themselves who need to stay engaged and stay prepared for a season that we don't know when we're going to get access to, but we know that at some point we're going to be allowed back on the field, and are we going to
Right.
be ready? And so with that, I kind of look at it as, with the glass half full. I've told all the teams that I work with that this is the great equalizer, that there's no advantage now to the teams that have a better budget, a better weight room, the better, access to strength coaches and all that kind of stuff. Now it's really on how well can you get your team bought in and engaged, and
For
who's going
sure.
to be smarter with their training, because we don't have stuff to work with. And so now it's a matter of kind of who's going to be able to do those two things. And the teams I'm working with, I'm telling them, look, you're already a month and a half ahead of all the other teams that are sitting around and waiting for the green light and playing video games all night and
Yeah.
eating junk. And so there's a couple things that I wanted to express to these coaches, and I want to express to the high school kids that are out there, because I still do a lot of work with high school teams. Is that the first fear is that, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything, right? We started working out in December or January, and now we got about two months in before they shut us down. Am I going to lose all my gains? And I just pulled some research showing that they took one group where they basically had them train for 4 months and 3 days a week, and then they had them stop all their training. That group basically lost all their new muscle, and it was as if they never trained at all. But they took another group and they gave them just a third of their training volume. So basically went from 3 days a week to 1 day a week. They actually kept all their muscle and actually were able to still gain muscle. And then the third group, they cut them down to 1/9, basically 10% of their initial program, which is minimal. And they still were able to keep all their muscle from their initial program. So, and their strength gain. So it doesn't mean it's going to all go away, but you have to do something.
Right. I want to know what 1/9 looks like. What is that?
Yeah.
Just stretching?
Well, I mean, if you think you're thinking doing three, they're basically doing, 3 sets of 10, 3 days a week. So basically they did 1 set of 10 was enough to kind of keep them going. Another research kind of showed the same thing, where they took world-class kayakers. Now I know kayakers isn't football, but like I joke with football coaches, you find me a football coach that'll give 5 weeks off. It usually doesn't happen. So with that, they cut them off of 5 weeks of training. But what they found is the first group that basically stopped all their training lost about 10% in their bench press, where the second group, where they just kept 1 day a week of 3 sets of 10 with like 70% of their 1 RM, they only lost about 4%, and they're going to gain that back within probably 2 to 3 weeks of training. Of course, all is not lost. So that's the first thing. I want to get that fear out of people's head. And there's an expression by a great Italian exercise scientist, Tudor Bompa, that said, "Soon ripe, soon rotten." So if you have been training, for the longer you've been training, the longer it'll stick. If you're a freshman who just started 4 weeks ago, it's probably not going to stick around as much as the senior who's been training for 4 or 5 years. So it's not going to all go away, but it is somewhat relative to how long you've been training.